Welcome back, Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic slash non-classic. This is episode 391 and Doubleshot number 314. One Batman trade and one Superman trade, and both trades are from the Golden Age. Okay, first up, it's Batman Golden Age Volume 2, and it collects stories from Batman. Well, it collects the entirety of Batman 4 through 7, and this, of course, is Volume 1. 4 through 7 from the 40s, and the stories from Detective Comics 46 to 56, and World's Finest issues 1 through 3. All the stories in here are written by Bill Finger, and all the artwork in here is drawn by Bob Kane. It may be a classic, but I do have some artistic there's problems with the artwork in here. Like, there are a few issues in here where Bob Kane forgot to draw the bat symbol on the bat costume. Yeah, and it's even on one of the covers. Oh, by the way, this is a Michael Cho artwork. Let's see. 130. Yeah, there's even a cover in here, believe it or not, where I think this is a Bob Kane cover. And take a look at this cover. What is this cover missing? Yes, the bat symbol is missing. Yeah, seriously. The bat symbol is seriously missing. And one of these issues in here, almost an entire issue where there's no Batman. It's like Bob Kane forgot to draw the bat symbol on the bat costume for almost an entire issue except for like one panel. I'm like, really, Bob Kane? Really? I mean, yeah, this is good Golden Age classic style artwork. But I've read the Batman issues that go into the 50s. Early 50s is okay. Early to mid 50s, either the artwork is really, really bad in the pages of Batman, or it's just okay at best. And here, the artwork is actually pretty good. There's no particularly the only first appearance I can think of for these issues is just the first appearance of Hugo Strange. That's it. Excuse me. Plus, you see the Joker plenty in the Batman's issues, which I don't know if this was a thing for the Golden Age, where at this point in time the Joker only appeared in Batman, and all the Batman issues, both in this book and the previous one, I've read so far in 7 issues, the Joker has appeared in every single issue. And I found out an interesting fact about the Joker. He was originally set to die in his debut appearance, but luckily enough that they changed their minds on it and kept him around for all these years. And I believe it was 2 years ago, I think it was. I think it was 2 years ago, I think it was, when the Joker celebrated his 75th anniversary. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. They celebrated 75th anniversary. Yeah. I should point out, though, some of the inkers in here are... Jerry Robinson inks several of the issues in here. I think he inks almost every one of these issues in here, and he does a really dang good job of doing it. And even though, yes, this is a classic, but I'm going to take a half point off because of the instances where Bob Kane forgot to draw the bat symbol on the bat costume. I mean, it is the bat costume, yes, but it's like he just plain forgot. Now, normally I would get this a 10 out of 10 because it's a classic, but because the fact that Bob Kane in several of these issues kept forgetting to draw the bat symbol on the bat costume, I have to dock a half point off. So 9.5 out of 10. It's still good, but don't like the fact that Bob Kane forgot to draw the bat symbol on the bat costume. Next is Superman Golden Age Volume 2, collecting Superman stories from Action Comics 20 to 31, and of course the Superman story from New York's World Trade number 2, along with Superman Volume 1, not Volume 2, not Volume 3, not Volume 4, Volume 1 from the 40s, for issues 4 through 7. Now, in here you have 2 noteworthy characters making their very first appearance at this point in time. You have the first appearance of Lex Luthor. Yeah. Let me show you what he looks like in his very first appearance. Here he is. Here's Lex. That's Lex Luthor right here. Yeah, that's him. And some of you wondering, why does Lex have hair? That's what he looked like back then. He had hair. Oh, I should also point out, though, at this point in time, this is the Earth 2 version, and he actually does not, his first name is not Alexander Luthor. He is Lex Luthor, yes, but his full name is Alexei Luthor. Yeah, and they brought him in to replace the Ultra Humanite, who actually stopped appearing after issue 22. I don't know why. Oh, fun fact, Ultra Humanite disappears for, get this, for over 30 years. He does not reappear again until the late 1970s in an issue of Superman Family, an Earth 2 Superman story, mind you. The feature was called Mr. and Mrs. Clark Kent. That's the Earth 2 Superman story. It's just kind of a continuation of this, in a way. It's just the Earth 2 Superman a bit younger than he normally is, though he does show up in his proper age. Basically, a lot of really good classic stories in here. Him finding corruption, various dictators, stuff like that. Though they had to stop doing this for Superman, stop taking on corrupt officials. Yeah, they had to stop doing this because of the Comic Code Authority. Yeah, and I'll also point out, though, and this is pointed out even by Linkara when he reviewed the first appearance of Superman for Action Comics #1. At this point in time, Superman's a jerk. Yeah. He kidnaps people, coerces confessions. A lot of the stuff he does in the Golden Age would nowadays be easily thrown out of court. Yes. This is indeed true. Oh yeah, and he does smile while doing this. He doesn't necessarily kill anybody per se. There's nobody that actually dies in these stories. It's just, well, it's just a Superman. I mean, he's in character the way he was depicted in the Golden Age. And I should point out, though, that, yes, Jerry Siegel is the artist for all the stories, with Joe Shuster is the artist on most of the issues in here, with Jack Burney as the artist for also the issues, and Wayne Boring. Let's see. Now, Joe Shuster, I think, does all the interior artwork for every single issue in here. The cover art for some of these issues, for Action Comics 25, it's Wayne Boring. For New York World's Finest, it's Jack Burney. For 26 is Joe Shuster, but he does it with Wayne Boring, who also does. Wayne Boring also does issues 27, 28, 29, and he does and those of Action Comics. He also co-does the cover with Joe Shuster on Superman #7. Jack Burney does the interior for Action Comics 20. That's actually one of 2 books in here. Actually, I think it's one of 3. Yeah, Joe Shuster did the artwork interior-wise up until Action Comics 28 when Jack Burney took over. And this, of course, is an Action Comics, not in Superman. For Superman, it's still Joe Shuster. Yeah, Joe Shuster still does the interior for Superman. I think at this point in time, he stopped doing the interiors for Action Comics because Jack Burney took over as the interior artist for the issues. He takes over with issue 28, and he does 28 to 30, but he does not do 31. 31 is, it's back to Joe Shuster. Yeah. Now, the way you read this, it's a bit bizarre how you read Golden Age stuff because they have these panels and numbers. You have to read, like, yeah, these are the panels, how they're set up back in the Golden Age. Go from here to here, 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 and here, and then down here. Yeah, and they give a particular number order you're supposed to read them. Yeah, that's how comics were read back then. I mean, yeah, this might be disadvantage for modern day readers if they pick this up like, hey, it's Superman, and you open up, it's like, okay, yeah, good cover, and like, what's this? Like, what's this? This is not how comics are printed. Yeah, I should point out, though, this is how comics are printed back in the Golden Age. During the 30s and 40s, comics are printed like this. Despite the whole thing with the comics thing, the books are really good, and there's no artistic faults in here. Unlike with Batman, where Bob Kane half the time forgot to put the bat symbol in the bat costume. I don't know why he forgot. It's just that wow. I mean, not just the interior, one of the issues. He even did one of the covers. I'm like, wow. Bob King, are you really that damn lazy? You couldn't draw a bat symbol? I mean, the bat symbol is, well, it's different than you see it today. It's a bit sloppy back then. Just basically squiggle lines. Let's see. Yeah. Here's a close look at what the bat symbol looked like in the 1930s and 40s. Yeah, that's what it looked like. That's how it was drawn. I mean, yeah, when you look at the bat costume, it looks pretty much how normally the bat costume is normally drawn. But the bat symbol constantly keeps changing depending on who artist draws it. But yeah, I should definitely point it out. But as for Superman, yeah, when it comes to this particular costume, this of course is the classic costume. The people who are nostalgic. I did not jump onto Superman until 2012, about 2 years after I started reading DC Comics, but I've been reading a lot of Superman since then. And I didn't have the nostalgic value like a lot of people did, and people love the red underwear on the outside, and people love the classic costume he had for years. I don't have a problem with it. The first time I saw the costume was in the Superman animated series. That's the first time I saw it, and I have no problem with the costume, but in comics-wise, I didn't have the nostalgic factor when it comes to basically this costume. Batman, I jumped onto him in 2010, same time I jumped on DC Comics, and this was, of course, a year. This was in October 2010. This was exactly almost 1 year before New 52 started. So, even though, yes, I was reading some Superman, I wasn't reading Superman at a particular point in time, but later I did read a lot of Superman. I've read a lot since then. But I've never had a problem with the costume. Never. I do agree with the New 52. The two things I do agree with the opinion about the costume for New 52. The collar thing is stupid, and the fact it's armor. I don't have necessarily a problem with the unnecessary lines in the costume like some people do. It's fine. I don't have a real big problem with it. It's just that I do agree with the sentiment. The collars are completely unnecessary, and the suit being armor was stupid. But I should also point out, take a good look at the Superman symbol. That's how it was drawn back then. It's not like how it would nowadays, where Superman symbol has like red instead of like yellow on the outside. Yeah, and they put like on the back of the costume, the ass is all in yellow, even though it has a black outline to it. But this is how it was drawn back in the Golden Age. It didn't get the red outline to it until it got to the Silver Age and got to the more classic look people tend to know for it being. And also, they cut down the red trunks. They cut down from the thighs. They cut down what looked like actual regular underwear. Now, this was natural for the Golden Age, and some people who jump into comics like, this looks weird. Superman had his underwear, and outside of his costume, yeah, Batman had the same thing too. But here's the thing: not all the Bat costumes had that. He stopped doing that in the 90s. Yeah, he got rid of it basically when he had the Trog costume. Yeah, he had a variant of his Year One costume, but it didn't have underwear. So basically, Batman stopped wearing the underwear on the outside in the with Nightfall. Superman never stopped doing it, wearing the whole underwear on the outside thing. He never stopped doing that until New 52 happened. But yeah, I had to point that out in case somebody are confused, like, why does his S look so weird? You want to know what it looks like on the inside via the Joe Shuster artwork? Let's see. Here's the thing. The S symbol is tiny. No, seriously, it's a tiny S. Yeah. I'm trying to find a good... Here we go. Yeah. This is how it's normally drawn. But if you want to know how it was drawn back in the Golden Age, yeah, that's the best I can come up with. But yeah, that is how the Superman symbol was drawn in the Golden Age of comic books. Yeah, the whole triangle thing instead of look like a regular shield like it does nowadays. That's how Joe Shuster drew it back in the 30s and 40s. Excuse me. When they brought this version of Superman back for the Silver Age and had him be on Earth 2, they actually kept him with that particular look on the costume. They kept that there just so people could tell the difference between Earth 1 and Earth 2. And that was back then where whenever DC bought another rival company added to their universe, they basically gave them their own Earth. That stopped in 1986 when There were 4 remaining Earths because a lot of the Earths were destroyed thanks to Anti-Monitor. The only Earths that remained were Earth 1, Earth 2, Earth 4, Earth X, and Earth X. 5 Earths, and they all merged into one, and that became the new Earth in 1986. I'll eventually review Crisis on Infinite Earths when I get my hands on the trade. But I had to point this out. This and this was later retconned in 1960s that the Avengers for Batman and Superman in 1930s and 40s were depicted on Earth 2. That's how it was. This I gave a 9.5 out of 10, mainly because of the artistic fails when it comes to Nevermind Bat Symbol. This I'm going to give a 10 out of 10 because it's a pure classic. I am planning on reviewing, when I get my hands on it, Crisis on Infinite Earths. I know Linkard just did a review of it a little over a week ago. Not this past week. This past week he did Secret Wars. Next week he's doing the Infinity Gauntlet, which is partially serve as the basis for Infinity Wars coming out next year. Okay? So, but aside from that, that's it for this episode. Stay tuned for the next episode, which I have a Wonder Woman trade. And one particular trade that it's a Batman trade, but it doesn't focus on Batman, surprisingly. You'll find out what it is in the next episode, which is episode 392 and Doubleshot number 315. Okay? Until then, I will see you there. Bye.